There's the stuff that you used to do that he will throw at you. There's the when you begin to, okay, it probably hasn't happened to a lot of you, but it probably has to some of you. When you begin to start teaching the Bible, or preaching the Bible, or talking about the Bible, you will get people that will say soft to you like,
always preaching,
who do you think you are? I don't know.
All of a sudden you're there.
Right? Yeah, people.
Like this person, like, for example, I might be going to church ages, and then this person, my friend, has suddenly just become a Christian, and now all of a sudden, like, who are you to be telling me this, blah blah blah? Oh, so you know God, stuff like that.
You get stuff like that, and it's a whole manner of things. But the whole purpose of all the persecution and trials is to get you to be offended. That's the point. And I'll say this, and I'll move on. The word offended means it's taken from a word whereby imagine. Okay, it's supposed to be a small rat trap, but imagine it's a big human trap. Big human trap, but it's a rat trap. A rat trap that's the size of and imagine there's bait. That bait is the offense. The purpose of the bait is to get you offended. And once you take the bait, yeah, and that's the whole purpose of the offense. The offense is there to knock you off your stride. It's a stumbling block. Now the good thing is that you guys now know that that's what's going to happen. So you're kind of half prepared. Okay. I'm not sure whether there are lots of, and it's not just in church, but in church, how many times have you, this happens, not, but it hasn't happened a lot, but it used to happen a lot. How many times have you been in a church sermon where somebody has preached about love? Someone has preached about love to the congregation and everyone's heard the message and you've sat there and thought that's a powerful message. And before the service ends, two people are fighting in the kitchen.
Over rice.
And it's normally over rice. Okay, how many people have seen that?
He says normally over rice.
Not just harvest. Someone stands up on the pulpit and preaches love, and you think that's powerful. And then you see them fight, and it's like, don't you guys understand what was just preached? That's the bait. And the whole point of it is to get you off sync with God, to the point that all of a sudden you get offended and the word is uprooted, so to say. You get offended. You take offense. You take offense. You leave the church. You take offense. Right, I'm not going to do this again. You take offense. It's even down to things like you're walking with God. And you weren't walking with God before, and you're now, I know I'm reading my Bible, I'm doing all of these things, boom, you lose your job. What happens? To a lot of people, they will turn around and tell God, but I was doing all of this for you. So what's the point of doing all of this? And stop walking with God. You don't understand, it's not a world that you live in.
No, it's just that, I don't know. Are you serving God because of your job? I don't know. For me, it's just, I couldn't care less. I don't know, maybe it's not coming right, but I'm more interested, or I care more in my heart, really, about God than my job. And although you might think that, oh, why is it that I've lost my job, or things are going wrong, what's wrong? It wouldn't make me leave God, it would kind of make me move more. Do you understand? Especially when you're in a problem. When you're in a problem,
that's because it's not your world. There's a world, and because of that, there's a world of church. That's the same mentality. That's the same mentality because why? Because you have fallen for the bait, and now you're leaving God's presence. If you understand God, you fall for the bait, you run to God's presence in the lives of others. In Jesus' name, that will be your portion. Right, we kind of stumbled to the end of this. Questions? We got 10 seconds. A bit more than 10 seconds. Yes, dear.
One thing, it's kind of not a question, but it's still open anyway. One thing that came to mind is that it sounds really weird, but is adversity necessarily bad? Because it's not until we're in them situations that our faith is actually tested, that we could see whether or not we truly stand for God. Because if everything is going rosy and everything is great, and we're not going through any trials, we're not going through any tribulations, it's always easy for us to thank God. But when we are going through them trials, I think it's at that critical point that you could tell whether or not this person is truly for God or truly isn't. And I think it's that point that it introduces you to yourself. So, when you said, I think it kind of just hit me when you said, you know what, hopefully none of us will be like Hannah, but some of us will be in situations like that. And it's good that we're in situations like that, because even the Bible, it speaks about, when you're in temptation, you know what I mean? You have to endure, and it shows that if you continue to endure, it shows that it's like your faith is strong. I don't know exactly how it says it, but
Romans 5:3-5.
yeah, we'll probably read it, but yeah, and it's like it's in them situations that God's name can actually be glorified. I'm not necessarily saying that, when things are going good, that God's name isn't glorified. But, when we have situations like this, that we're like, this is what God's doing in our lives, or, I'm still standing. And I think, at the same time, as I said, it introduces us to ourselves.
It's more to do with people wanting to physically see something before it can mentally register. And that's funny, because even when you talk about Celestial Church of Christ, a lot of things is done like that. People need to physically see something or physically hold something in order for them to really believe it as well. But in essence, I think the whole water baptism, even if you just accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior and you've already spiritually partaken in it, it doesn't necessarily, I don't necessarily think that you have to do the physical one.
I have a question to that. If Christ himself think he was important, Jesus Christ, the Son of God, the Messiah of the world, the one who died on the cross of Calvary, but it was important for him to get baptized by John the Baptist before the start of his ministry. He said for the fulfillment of the law. He said it, and aside that, he also said the fact that when he was speaking, he said, I'm sure he mentioned baptism.
Yeah, it's important. It has to be.
But then, what importance should be placed on it? Is it something that should be taken seriously by Christians, or you don't have to do it?
It should be taken seriously, because in essence, what we're doing is that I think it's a part of us confirming our faith as well, confirming what we believe and us actually accepting Jesus Christ. And us, in a way, you can see as, not even to get too technical about it, but the whole process of us coming out of the world and being ushered into the lineage of Jesus Christ as well. So it's part of that process, but in essence, the core of it is literally just the acceptance of Jesus Christ.
Sorry.
Okay, no, let's it's as important as having a naming ceremony. You're announcing something, but you don't. Yeah, you're announcing that I am accepting Christ. I am leaving my old life. I am starting my new life. But it's just a ceremony. You can do it, and it might mean nothing. You can do it, and it might mean something. I guess on one level it's, I don't want to say it's not important, but on one level it's not important. But on another level it is, because it signifies something. But you're doing it isn't going to cause what it signifies to happen. That's something that happens already in you. What you're doing it is like, now this is me saying I'm walking with God. But reality, you can walk with God without doing it. And you can walk with God without doing it.
But is it still important to
It's the same. Is it important to have a naming ceremony? Yes, because you are announcing a child. Yes, yes. You don't have to have a naming ceremony, but you're doing something. It's like, is it important to have a marriage?
Uncle Christ said it himself.
That's
In John
Uncle
3,
John!
You lot should be in the middle.
sorry, you said it. Yeah.
in John 3, says Jesus answered, most assuredly I say to you, unless one is born of water and the Spirit, he cannot enter the kingdom of God. So you have to be born of water and the Spirit.
John 3:5.
That's what Christ says himself. So what is the importance of that?
Okay. We'll continue this next week.